DreAllDay.com.
Dre Baldwin with DreAllDay.com. Topic of this video is let your opposition speak. And I'm talking about this because this is a bigger issue that's happening in wider society, but it's something that I saw recently. There was I believe the gentleman was a district judge, white guy. He was at university. He was speaking to the students at the law school. Now, Stanford University they call it like the Ivy League of the West Coast. All right, the Ivy League is supposed to be the best schools in the United States. Those are the schools in the Northeast Corridor, like Penn, Yale, Harvard, Brown. Those schools are supposed to be the best schools. Cornell, the best students get into the Ivy League schools. Now, we know that's kind of gotten messed up over the years with affirmative action and sending kids who don't match up academically. They're getting into these schools and they're pushing out kids who actually did measure up. So it isn't technically what it used to be, but they still have their reputation. And Stanford even though it's not an Ivy League school, it is looked at as the Ivy League of the West because it has super high standards and the best students go to Stanford. So this guy is speaking to the law students at Stanford. And a law degree is, especially for the people who actually get one, a big deal. It's a big deal to get a law degree. All right, it costs a lot of money and is a big time and energy investment that goes into getting a law degree. So he's speaking to these law students, or at least he was trying to speak, and the students start shouting him down because apparently as a white guy, who knows, he's probably on the conservative side of the political spectrum, I guess, or maybe he's done something, or maybe he did nothing at all just by being white. They're basically shouting him down and not letting him talk. Y'all seen these videos. If y'all use social media, y'all see these videos where somebody who allegedly is on the wrong side of history, quote unquote, is trying to speak somewhere, and instead of people actually letting them say what they want to say, the students either shout the person down so they don't get a chance to say anything, or the students and other people who aren't even students, they get involved and they protest and they make a big deal around the fact that they don't like that this person is going to be speaking on the campus, and they make so much noise that the school gets nervous, quote unquote, and they cancel the person's speaking engagement so they never get a chance to actually say anything. So at Stanford, this is happening. The judge is like, well, can I get an administrator in here because they told me I would get a chance to actually say what I wanted to say, and they're not actually letting me say it. So he asked for an administrator. So who do they send? They send the Associate Dean of DIE, Diversity, Inclusion, and Equity, aka DIE. They send the Associate Dean of DIE to come and calm the students down. What does she do? She gets on. This whole video is online. Y'all can find this video. Just look up Stanford. I forget the guy's name. I think his name is, damn, I just had his name because I was talking about this earlier when I was recording. His last name is Duncan. So just look up Stanford Law and the word Duncan, like Tim Duncan. Look up that name and you'll see the video. This woman is this black or brown woman. She comes in and her job is he asked that they bring somebody in and tell the students, shut the hell up so I can talk. And it's only this is not like some huge big auditorium. This is a lecture hall with like 100 people in it. Maybe. Might have been like 60. She goes on to give a speech to the class, but she's really talking to him. She's lecturing him about how he's wrong and bad and he represents bad things, and y'all know all the normal DIE stuff that people preach. She went on and preached to him for 10 minutes about why he's wrong and how what he represents or what he's done has hurt them, and the students are cheering for him to speak. And then when she finally gets done, somebody comes in and says, hey, let the guy say what he want to say, but if y'all don't want to stay and hear it, you can leave. And then like 60% of the class leaves before he even gets a chance to actually say what he wants to say. So he's standing there at the podium now. He's going to finally get his chance to speak, and 60% of the class just walks out. And I'm laying all that out to say the following. This is what's being taught again, this is supposed to be one of the best colleges. This is one of the colleges that gets the best students. These are the smartest, brightest, best academics in the world, and the smartest, brightest, best teachers in the world are teaching there. And this is what they are teaching and applauding their staff for doing, and they're applauding the students for doing it. So I'm guessing that the students, after they did this, they felt all high and mighty. Like, we shut him down. We didn't let him say anything. We shouted him down, didn't let him even get a word out edgewise. And here's the whole point, the reason why I'm talking about this in video. If you disagree with another person, if you have a disagreement with what they're about or what they represent or something that they've done in the past or whatever, you don't even know what you're mad at them about. Most of the students in that class, I would bet, have no idea why they're supposed to be mad at this guy. as there was somebody holding up a trans rights matter sign, which means nothing. They was holding the sign upside down, looking and sounding stupid. The whole point is, if you disagree with a person, that's actually your opportunity to let them speak. If you disagree with somebody, you should let them say whatever it is that they have to say. Let them talk. Why is this? 2 reasons. Might be more than 2, but 2 that I got right now. Number 1, when you let someone speak with whom you disagree, first thing is, if they are as wrong and as bad and as out of line and on the wrong side of history as you claim that they are, the more that they talk, the more obvious it will become. Napoleon Bonaparte, one of the greatest war generals of all time, said, never interrupt your enemy when he's in the process of making a mistake. Therefore, if you're in a conversation with somebody and they're sounding stupid and they're making themselves look stupid, you should not cut them off and stop them from talking and sounding stupid, because all you're doing is stopping them from making a mistake, which is exactly what you want them to do. Let them talk. And if they're wrong, their wrongness will become more and more obvious the more that they speak. That's reason number 1. Reason number 2, if you believe that somebody is wrong, you should let them talk so that once they feel like you have let them speak and you have heard them out, they will be more willing to hear you out. This is simple. This is the simple law of reciprocity that is hardwired into all human beings. Unfortunately, it's being taught in places like, especially places like our alleged institutions of higher learning these days, that if you don't like somebody or you disagree with their existence or what they represent or who they're a fan of or something that you made up but they might not have even done, but you decided that they're wrong, is to just shout them down, protest them, don't listen to them, yell at them every time they try to talk, tell them why they're wrong, assert your point instead of letting them make their point, and just keep doing it until they either give up trying to speak or your institution of higher learning that is supposed to be pushing academic rigor, which means having your thoughts, ideas, and beliefs challenged. That's the very essence of academic rigor, is you have a thought, a belief, an idea, and it gets challenged in the open marketplace. That's what's supposed to happen. But now what's being taught on these college campuses, or what's being accepted, let's just say, on these campuses, is shout somebody down, don't let them speak, cuss them out, yell at them every time they try to make a point until or unless they stop talking and stop trying, and then you can declare victory because they didn't get to say anything, as if you actually proved the point. Is ridiculous, number 1, and I could understand it if it was a bunch of ignorant, low-level individuals doing this kind of stuff, but this is not that. Allegedly, this is a college campus where, again, and this is Stanford. This is not some bum-ass community college. This is one of the best colleges in America, who allegedly is very selective about the students they allow to come into their school. And these are the students. These are law students. So these are not no undergrads who just got into school. You never know. Some of them might be flunking out. These are people who did the 4 years somewhere. They might not have did it at Stanford. Did 4 years. They were good enough to get into Stanford Law. Law school is a very selective process. I do not have a law degree, but I know some people who do. Getting a law degree is a very selective process to even get into the school, let alone to get the degree. And these are the best of the best. This is Stanford. They're allowing this. And they came out a day or so after the video, because the video went viral on social media, right? They came out a day or so after that, and they announced in a statement that they have a policy that what happened was not supposed to happen, that it goes against policy, and the staff member, the administrator, who came in and did what she did and gave that little speech, that little DIE speech about the fact they even have a DIE staff and an associate dean of DIE on the campus tells you a lot about them in the first place. And they said that what she did was against policy. They're not supposed to do that, etc., etc. Here's the point, though. If it was against policy, then that means that woman should be fired. Because if you break policy on purpose at a job, you get fired, right? Isn't that what happens when you break policy? It's not like she didn't know the policy. She knew the policy. She broke the policy. You get fired for breaking a policy, don't you? Secondly, if it was a policy, then it should have never happened in the first place. That's the whole point. If somebody was actually breaking a policy, then the thing that they did should have never happened in the first place. And they should have told the students before it began, like, yo, you're not going to shout him down. You're not going to interrupt him. If you don't want to hear what he has to say, don't come to class today. But you are going to let him speak. And if you interrupt him, then you are breaking policy. And there are rules for what you can do to students when they break policy on a college campus, because I've seen it. You break a policy on the college campus, something can happen to you. Same thing that can happen to a worker, it can happen to a student, right? So I want to see what Stanford actually does. They put out this statement and said they're going to take measures to make sure this doesn't happen again and again. It's just boilerplate bullshit. It is basically, what do they call it? They call it paying lip service. So they said all the right things, but are they actually going to do anything is what I want to know. And it is about that situation, but it's not. The whole point that I want all of you to get is when you're in a conversation or you may be posed with the possibility, the idea is floated to you of having a conversation with someone with whom you have a disagreement, or you think you have a disagreement because you haven't heard them talk yet, so you're not sure if you actually disagree with them. Maybe you have been told that you're supposed to disagree with a person because they're this or they're that, or they like this or they represent that, and you're this and that. You don't even know. A lot of times you don't even know until you let that person say what they actually have to say. And you may find out that what you thought was a disagreement is not even that much of a disagreement. But whatever you think, let that person speak. And if they are as terrible as you were told they were, or you were taught to believe they were, it will be obvious the more they talk. And if they are not, then you might learn something. I mean, isn't that what's supposed to happen on the college campus? Are you supposed to learn things? You're not supposed, if you're a student sitting in the audience on a college campus, you're not there to teach, you're there to learn. So you're not there to shout down the speaker, you're there to listen to the speaker. The speaker knows more than you do. That's why they're at the podium and you are in the audience. Doesn't that just make sense? If I got this wrong, somebody let me know. When I'm not a college student anymore. I went to college, I have a college degree, just a 4-year degree, and not from a school as prestigious as Stanford. But the point is this: when I was in college and I sat in the classroom, I wasn't there to teach the teacher, I was there to learn from the teacher. Because if I was there to teach, guess where I would be? At the front of the room and not sitting in the crowd. When I go to events, this week I'm going to a couple of events. This week I'm going to 2 events. One event I'm a speaker, one event I am an audience member. At the event in which I'm a speaker, guess what I'm gonna be doing? I'll be standing in the front of the room teaching. And at the event in which I'm an audience member, what will I be doing? I'll be sitting in the audience, shutting the hell up and taking notes, because I want to learn from the person on the stage. And when I'm qualified to teach, I'm in the front of the room, not in the audience. That's what's supposed to happen on a college campus. Now, again, this is what I would assume this is what the students should know, but they are being taught, again, they're being taught that this is acceptable and this is commendable and this is like something that they should get a round of applause for this, for shutting down or shouting down any idea or person who they think has ideas that they disagree with. Even if you vehemently disagree with the person's ideas, you should let them say their piece so that then you get an opportunity to say your piece. This is the way communication works. I say what I gotta say, you gotta say what you gotta say, you listen to me, I listen to you. Now we can have dialogue and we can get to some level of understanding, even if we understand that we disagree with each other. But you gotta understand what I'm saying to know that you disagree. But again, this is what's being taught in the institutions of higher learning. So I don't know where any of you parents out there are sending your kids and you're paying money for this, but this is not academic rigor. I don't know what you want to call it, but it ain't that. This is not academic rigor. This is not the marketplace of ideas where you can just not allow somebody a chance to say their idea and you just keep pushing your idea. I don't know what you want to call that, but it ain't academic rigor, and it's unprofessional behavior. You can't do that in any kind of professional setting. You can't do that in a boardroom. You can't do that in a sales presentation, but they're doing it on the college campus. So you all tell me. You tell me if I'm missing something here. I don't think I am, but if maybe I am. All right, so let me listen to y'all. You tell me in the comment section. All that said, text me. Tell me the best idea, insight you got from this video. And also to get my daily motivation text, comes out free every single day. My number is 305-384-6894. And workonyourgameuniversity.com. You want to take the next step in working with me, where you learn how to have real conversations and real communication with real people, and how to not only talk, but also listen, because communication is just as much listening as it is speaking. You want to learn how to really communicate so you can be a true leader. And true leaders understand when you have an organization, you may have some people working for you who came from one of these places and they think this is normal. I don't like you. I don't like what you represent, so I'm going to just shout you down as soon as you start talking. What are you going to do when somebody on your staff starts doing this? How are you going to handle it? You better be ready for it, because these colleges are pretty big. They're producing a lot of people and they spread out. All right. And they're going to have kids and they're going to intermingle with other people. And this is a thing. All right. These people are growing into this, and this is what they think is actually good. They think what they're doing is actually productive. You're going to have to deal with these people. How are you going to do it? Well, come to workonyourgameuniversity.com. You will learn the leadership skills to handle this, because it will happen. Trust me. Workonyourgameuniversity.com is the place. Work on your game. Dre all day.